Gird your loins. Compete Radio starts now.
Putting the dis in dysfunction. Here's the most diverse panel of talk show hosts in the world with your host, Josh Fourrier. Sports news with Buddy Early. Alfonzo Chavez with Sports Pop. Your resident straight lady, Connie Wardman. And the conservative voice, Eric Carlisle.
Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Josh Fourrier. It is 12 noon, and I am joined today by the one and only...
Alfonzo Chavez.
Wow. Hi, Alfonzo.
Hi. I'm so happy to be back again this week.
I'm so happy you're here. Did you hear those names at the beginning of the show?
Yes, I did.
Sound familiar?
Yeah. Like Josh?
Yeah, and Connie and Eric, and I think he mentioned you, Buddy.
I didn't hear a you. I heard an Alfonzo Chavez.
Chavez.
Yeah.
I have some exciting news, yet
Okay.
some kind of sad news. Not this week, but next week will be our last show on KPHX.
That is sad news. We are going to miss all of you out there listening to KPHX here in the Valley.
Yeah, we're not going away.
Right.
We're just moving.
Yeah. So personally for me, I thought it was a huge accomplishment going to a local high school and growing up here in Phoenix and, you know, getting to get my opinion out to my other Phoenix, residents. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, well, and it is.
I'm all choked up. I'm having trouble finding my words.
It is emotional for all of us here at the office. It's been a crazy adventure. All good things must come to an end. At least this chapter of everything is doing just that here at KPHX. But we'll talk about that more next week. But we went back to our vintage intro of the show for these last two episodes. And the entire cast is going to be back next week to say goodbye.
I'm glad to hear that. That should be an interesting show.
Oh, well, I'm sure. It always was. You know, a lot of times on the show we talk about athletes that are in support of gay marriage.
Right.
And a lot of them are.
Mm-hmm.
In 2011, wasn't it, there were 24 athletes that came out of the closet, I believe. It was somewhere in
It was more than we've ever seen in 1 year.
Totally.
Definitely.
Yeah, somewhere in the low 20s. I don't have the exact number. But yeah, a lot of people came out. The other side of that, and I think we would be a little naive not to address it, the other side of that would be athletes that have made a name for themselves not in support of gay rights or gay marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to start the segment by saying we want to hear from you. We have 2 shows left, and we want to hear from you. Call us at 602-539-0280. That number again is 602-539-0280. Also, we have a post up on our Facebook about this topic, and then you can also log on to CompeteRadio.com, click on Contact Us, shoot us an email. We're watching all of our feeds as we speak. I'll give that number one more time just so you get it. If you don't get through, if you happen to get through to our voicemail, leave a message. We may play it back. If it's a busy signal, try again. But that number is 602-539-0280. We want to talk to you about how you feel about gay rights, gay equality, gay marriage, across the board.
Sports?
Well, not so much. I mean, yeah, but for this issue, I want to talk about the gay rights.
Okay.
Now, because we are a sports show, let's put we're a weird show. We're a sports show with a gay twist. Does that make sense? No?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about professional athletes that are against gay rights and have publicly spoken out about that. So, where would you like to start with this? We have Charles Barkley. He supports gay athletes, and something he says.
Well, let's start with the bad news.
Okay. Before we go to the bad news, I do want to quote Mr. Barkley.
Okay.
Because he says, as a black person, he can't be in for any form of discrimination. And I think that's a very powerful quote. I think it means a lot.
Yeah, I agree. Especially somebody coming from a community that really has experienced a high level of discrimination and having a very long battle to get from where they were to where they are.
Right.
In terms of equality and equal rights.
I agree. On to the bad. I'm scared.
Yeah,
I'm scared to tackle this. When we're reading these quotes, we have to be really careful.
Yeah. So let's. I'm somebody who drinks vinegar every day. So.
Do you really?
Yeah, it's good for your liver.
We'll talk about that later.
Cleans out your blood. Yeah.
Stay tuned for an exciting, in-depth look at Alfonso's liver. All right, go ahead. Take it away.
Okay, so we'll actually start with Jason Williams, who is quoted as saying to an Asian fan at a game, "Are you a three-letter word that starts with an F?"
We'll just say gay F word.
Yeah,
Okay.
And then he says, "Are you gay? Do you remember the Vietnam War? I'll kill y'all just like that." So Jason Williams actually gave us a twofer right there.
He sure did.
He used anti-LGBT language and anti-Asian language there.
Yeah.
Very kind-hearted man, with his words here.
Sarcasm noted.
Yeah.
Eddie Perez, I like that one.
Eddie,
I love that one. I love to hate that one.
go ahead.
If I knew a guy was gay, then I could work it out. I could be prepared. I could hide when I'm getting disrobed. It would be hard to play with someone all year and then find out that they're gay.
That one is kind of funny because you know how much athletes love to talk about the size of their member?
I don't know that.
Well, some of them, I've come across many that like to broadcast.
The athletes I know, I wonder why they would want to talk about the size of their member unless they're complaining.
And if you're going to brag about that, why are you suddenly going to hide? Now, I'm not saying Eddie Perez is one of them, but you know what locker room talk is like.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's that typical straight guy, no regard for women or any minority. A lot of times I'm finding that whenever we talk about sexual orientation, it is so closely related to a race issue. Just by the level of discrimination. Like if it's a group of, let's say, all white guys in a locker room, they would think it would be appropriate to, and this was done in a survey taken a while back, but it would be appropriate to disrespect other races because they're amongst each other. So if it's a group of all straight men in the locker room, it could disrespect gay people.
I've actually been in situations where it has been like that. Maybe not all white, but maybe like all of us are gay or all of us are Hispanic.
Every race is guilty.
With me, and there's been people that have used some, we'll just say, insensitive language, and there have been cases where it's like nails on a chalkboard. Hearing it, it makes my bones itch, or you know what I mean. It's like you feel it that deeply sometimes. Yeah, that.
We have a lot more. I mean, these stories that we have in front of us, there's so much we could talk about. We only have a couple minutes left in this segment, so
okay.
I want to talk about what we're doing as a company that is positive. But you have one more, right?
I just want to do this one really quickly because this is somebody who is really known for being negative, and then turned around and did the opposite. Tim Hardaway was quoted as saying, "I hate gay people, so let it be known. I don't like gay people, and I don't like to be around gay people. I am homophobic. I don't like it. It shouldn't be in the world or in the United States, so yeah, I don't like it." Point made, Mr. Hardaway. And back in August, he actually traveled to El Paso to boycott a recall of people that worked in the city, elected officials in El Paso, to keep domestic partnerships benefits.
Right. So he has some homophobia issues.
Some evolution taking place.
Yes. Yeah. There was a quote that I read on Facebook. It says something like, "There's homosexuality in 400-something species, but homophobia in only one."
Yeah.
Which one is unnatural now? So, but real quickly, we have to go to break. I wanted to mention Ben Cohen, who is a gay ally.
Yes, very much so.
Professional athlete. He's going to be attending our expo, which is coming up here real soon. And a little later in the show, we'll give you a lot more information on the expo, what's going on, when it'll be. As I said, we do want your feedback, so call us at 602-539-0280. Log on to the Compete Sports Facebook or CompeteRadio.com for news, information, hot topics, and more. We'll be right back after this. Stay with us.
Log on to CompeteRadio.com for news, information, hot topics, and, oh yeah, more. I always forget about that one. Radio. Sports Pop.
We have a couple callers on the line. Let's go ahead and go to Jay in Sun City, Arizona. Jay, welcome to the show.
Being a black person, well, number one, it's not a civil rights issue. Number two, to support gay marriage requires a pretty healthy amount of inconsistency. But I'm going to give you a chance to convince me here. Tell me what I'm missing here. If I say that gay marriage is not equal to heterosexual marriage, because my reasoning on it, which you probably already know, then if you say it is equal, then because they're consenting adults, then how do we then get to exclude stepfathers from marrying stepdaughters? Are they not also consenting adults? Who are we to tell them that they can't do that? Where do we draw the line is my question.
Well, I don't think that we prohibit stepdaughters and stepfathers for getting married, so that's your first false premise. The other one is you said, number one, it's not a civil rights issue, and then you just moved on. It is a civil rights issue. It's absolutely a civil rights issue. It's a constitutional issue. It's equal protection under the law. It means I am an American. I am entitled to every civil right that is extended to somebody of a different sexual orientation. We don't discriminate based on sexual orientation in this country. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I can understand that in employment. Nobody's saying that should be the case. I can understand that in college admission. Nobody's saying that should be the case. But as far as this, I don't have a problem with civil unions. If you want to have civil unions, I've always felt there should be some intermediate place between single and married.
Wait. Hold on. I have some questions to ask you before we continue. What is it that makes you, A, gloss over that this is not a civil rights issue, and B, how did you get there? I mean, how did you decide that it was not a civil rights issue?
Because in order for something to be declared a civil rights issue, you have to be able to show where somehow your life is being impacted in a negative way as opposed to someone else.
Now, if two people are in love, and they want to get married, and they want to raise children, then why...
What I'm saying is, hands off my marriage. If you want the same
why
thing, why is it having a
wait.
civil union is not satisfactory? I don't understand.
Well, why can't it be marriage?
Because that was established between men and women who are able...
Who established that?
I guess it depends on how you believe we got here.
No, it doesn't depend on how I think we got here. It has nothing to do with how I think we got here. Some people get married by Elvis impersonators. Should two gay people be able to get married by an Elvis impersonator? Or is this really just all about church?
You keep using the word married. There's the point right there. What you're referring to is a union between two people that will give them rights, civil property.
Well, I am talking about marriage, and I want to know why you won't, why marriage is so offensive to you. I mean, it's such a sacred trust. If it's so sanctified by a God, then why are you, then you're going to have to explain two things. Why is divorce allowed if God wants it this way? And why is it okay for the government to step in whenever it's time to get a divorce? And why do you have to go to court to get a divorce? So obviously it's not a church thing, it's a government thing. Because you can't get divorced without going to a court. And if you were to allow gay marriage in an Elvis chapel in Vegas, then we're all good.
Well, first of all, notice I didn't bring up church. I didn't bring up religion. I thought you were going to be making...
You told me that I could guess where your information was coming from, so I guessed.
I thought you were going to be implying this from a social perspective for me. I'm not a religious person. I don't have a religious belief.
Okay, so then you asked me to guess where it's coming from. I guessed wrong, so where is it coming from?
Well, you know what? If there's that, then I need to become a religious person. That's the way I see it.
Now, you're totally not understanding a word that I'm asking you. You said guess where my opinion is coming from. I guessed it was coming from a religious background. So then you said that's not where it came from. So now I'm asking you, where does is your decision that it's not a civil right, getting married, and yet if you want to get divorced, you have to go to court. Obviously, this has to do with government work. Why have you decided that the government shouldn't extend the same civil rights to somebody of a different sexual orientation than you?
Because men and women in that union have a physical and social ability that homosexual unions cannot and will not ever have.
And what is that?
Well, number one, of course, barring any type of medical or physical abnormality.
Yeah, but you know how insulting that is? Do you know how insulting what you are suggesting actually is to people? Are you thinking about that? There's women that can't procreate, so they're in some special category with you and your law, your rules about this?
That's why I threw in there and said, unless there's some sort of medical disability. But here's the point.
Wait a minute. So you're saying that some disabled woman can marry a man only, and that's okay in your world, but you want to be able to make the judgment that a disabled woman can't have a marriage
what you're describing.
Let me finish the thought. Let me finish the thought. You're saying that disabled women should have some exception because they are medically disabled and unable to procreate. So therefore, those marriages were okay. But under your rules, marriage is for procreation.
No, I said that's one reason. The other one is social.
Huh. So, okay. So if two men wanted to have a unified household with two parents so that, when one was out working, the other could be home cooking dinner, when one was taking little daughter Jessica to, soccer practice, the other one could be at a parent-teacher conference, whatever, or when one person gets sick and the other partner in the relationship is there taking care of them 24/7, making sure they get showered, making sure they get food, making sure that he can make it to his doctor's appointment on time. That is not legitimate to you? That's not a legitimate social family?
Oh, well, I love you. You'll forgive me if I kind of avoid that when I understand the circumstances.
Well, because now it's personal. And guess what?
So does that include
And guess what? Marriage is personal. And everybody who is an American ought to be able to make the decision about who they want to marry, because most people can't control who they fall in love with.
So does that include brothers and sisters?
No, because they
discriminating against them.
Well, no, see, this is under your law. Your law says that marriage is for procreation. Brothers and sisters can't procreate.
They're two grown adults who are making a decision. You can't control who you fall in love with. Well, if a brother and sister fell in love, how can we tell them that their love's not legitimate?
Because if a brother and a sister fell in love, there would be some deep psychological problem there. But you are born gay. Just as you were born a black man with your skin color, you're also born gay. They're not. You're saying that marrying your brother is a choice and that it's equal to being gay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's where at the base of all your decision making and opinion there is a problem with misinformation. It's Jay. I need to say this and then I'm going to go, okay?
Sure.
Okay, you can't make good decisions when your foundation of fact is based on false information. All of your comments where, you thought them through but based on a false fact as a premise led to all of this for you. The fact that you have to grapple with, the fact that you have to wrap your brain around is that people are born with their sexual orientation, and that's it.
I agree.
Okay.
You still didn't refute my argument. But
I did refute your argument, Jay, but you don't understand it because you're thinking about everything on some false fact that is a choice to be gay, but it's not. And it is though a choice to fall in love with your brother. It's a choice.
We disagree on that.
How many brothers and sisters have you ever seen fall in love and declare that they need to get married, Jay? How often has that crossed your path?
Gay people not be in some form of denial.
Because gay people are born gay. You're talking to a gay guy right now. I'm telling you, people are born gay. I should know. And to say that you're born gay and to now say, oh, well, I'm not gay anymore is absolute denial.
Okay, well, like I say, it still doesn't preclude that if there's two consenting adults, you're discriminating against one group and saying it's not okay to discriminate against another.
I am not saying... Look, there is no group in this country of brothers who want to marry their sisters. There is no group. NAMBLA is not brothers and sisters. NAMBLA are pedophiles.
There have been three...
All right, Jay, I'm done with you now. I can't do this anymore. This is really personal for me, and you're... bye.
Hey, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 90 seconds. Is gay. You're listening to Compete Radio.
And welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Josh Fourrier, here with
Alfonzo Chavez.
Many, many different opinions we are receiving on the whole gay marriage, gay rights, gay equality issue. I've taken a happy pill to calm myself down. We're now back on track, and we have a very exciting show, right, Alfonso?
We sure do.
Absolutely.
Very exciting.
All right. The first issue at hand, we're going to talk about Charter Oak, how they rejected claims by a gay coach who said he was fired for being gay.
Right.
Okay. Later in the show, what else do we have, Alfonso?
We have a homophobic slur that was possibly used against Sean Avery, who's been an ally for gay marriage.
Really?
In the NHL, yeah.
Homophobic slur against him personally?
Yes, against him by another hockey player.
I like the happy stories better.
Me too.
I need one after the way the show is going. One I really am excited to talk about is how the cheerleaders for Oregon were wearing hard hats to protect themselves against Arizona fans.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the football player turned cheerleader. We can't pass that up, right?
Yeah. Some people's...
We'll get into it
Lord.
later. But right now, let's talk about Charter Oak.
Yes.
All right. This is a sensitive issue right off the bat. So the coach said he was fired last month for being gay.
Right. Well, Mitch Stein, he actually went to Charter Oak Unified. He was actually teaching in Charter Oak Unified School District. He was teaching on two teams. One was water polo, and apparently somebody had an issue with him, so an anonymous letter was sent to the school. But
you know why there was an issue, right?
Well, because he's gay.
No. The issue was stemmed from, according to the official response, from his Facebook and MySpace accounts.
Right.
And just to clarify, he was an assistant coach, not a coach.
Excuse me.
Okay. No, I said it.
Well, an assistant coach is a coach.
True,
I mean,
but not the head coach. No, he's like the vice president, not the president.
Right.
No one really knows
That's
who
like
he is.
being a vice teacher as opposed to a teacher.
Yeah.
You know? You still work. You know?
Yep. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's fine. And what happened was this anonymous tipster found two pictures of him that they thought were questionable.
Right.
One was of him about to take a bite of a corn dog. And if you've seen pictures of Michelle Bachmann or Rick Perry,
unfortunately, I have,
that were floating around.
Yeah.
You know, would you say that's sexually questionable?
With the level of homophobia that those two have, yes, I would, because they are probably having their own homophobia or homosexual issues.
Mm-hmm. But do you think that's questionable
No.
for kids in a high school to see?
I'm just joking. No, of course not. No. No.
Yeah, and the other photo was of him with two drag queens. So I guess what had happened...
Now I mean, why are you with drag queens if you're not at a gay bar or gay pride or something?
But what's sexual about standing next to two drag queens?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Well, depending on what they're wearing, because you know those drag queens.
Lord.
No, I'm just having fun. There's nothing sexual about it. They weren't sexually explicit. They were G-rated. Sure. So
they what is being claimed by the school district is that there's a basically he broke a rule about having I guess something along the lines of sexually explicit material that high school students could view, or they shouldn't be sharing that information with the general public. And he actually contacted the school and asked to be reinstated, and he received a letter from the school's legal counsel.
Yes.
Which, to me, maybe this is just me, maybe this is just my opinion, but the way it read to me was very arrogant.
Wow.
It just had, and interestingly enough, there were all these parents who were showing support for him that wanted him hired back. And, there's been other people around the United States who have been calling the school, asking them to reinstate his position.
Well, you look at it as arrogant because it's obviously telling him to bug off.
Right.
They're not interested.
Which is what lawyers do.
Yeah, but I mean, here's what sticks out to me. They're saying that, Mr. Stein was a part-time temporary employee. He wasn't entitled to due process protection. And then this is what really sticks out. The second paragraph from the law office, this letter says, The district vigorously disputes your characterization of events, which is prepared to fully rebut should it be necessary. They feel they have something in their court which they are firmly standing in place on. They're not moving.
Have you ever listened to a lawyer speak before, Josh?
Unfortunately.
Have they ever tried to intimidate you? And make you feel as though you know nothing about the law and they know everything?
Lawyers remind me a lot of politicians. When you ask a question or they're answering anything, they always dance around it.
Basically, you think lawyers can be extremely full of...
Of course.
Yeah.
You have to be a lawyer.
So why wouldn't that apply when it comes to this letter?
Well, they could be calling a bluff. But if they are, they're saying they're fully intended to go forward with the legal process, should he consider doing that. And if they are fully intending on going forward with it, I would really think that they would have something in their court that would really give them the advantage of the situation. Especially whenever you take into consideration there's parents.
Right.
All the support this guy is getting.
Uh-huh.
When you take that into consideration, they're standing firm in their decision. Mm-hmm. And to use the word vigorously, no, what was the other word? Yeah, vigorously dispute your characterization of events. They are not only saying you kind of turn black and white into gray. They're not saying that. They're saying you turn it into orange, violent orange.
And
you know what I mean?
And he claims that they're doing the same thing.
Right.
So, we have his side of the story, we have their side of the story, and he's actually retained a lawyer. Good. As well, because if I were in his position, I would probably do the same thing.
But let's look at what happened. Let's look at the situation. They got rid of this guy because they saw inappropriate pictures on his Facebook and his MySpace. Mm-hmm. This guy, the coach, and not to be disrespectful, I'm sorry. What's his name? Mitch Stein? Yes. Mitch Stein is saying they fired me because I'm gay. Right?
Right.
Okay. So can you be fired because you're gay in this particular state with this school district?
I do. If it's is it in California?
Second of all, why the hell does this guy have a MySpace profile? Nobody gets on there anymore.
Yeah, actually, this is in Irvine, California. Okay. At least that's the address of Margaret Chidester, I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, and Associates, the law firm.
So generally, California does have equal protection for sexual orientation, generally.
Yeah, and I also want to point out that Orange County tends to be very socially conservative and politically conservative as well. And this Irvine is in Orange County in California.
But the parents, the people that are conservative, the voters, they're supporting this guy.
Yeah, I agree. But the district is not.
Right. So I think that they really have something on him where they're prepared to go to court and to stand firm in their decision.
Well, if that's the case, then shouldn't we know what that is? If their case only stands based on 2 photos, if a heterosexual woman was photographed with 2 drag queens and eating a hot dog or about to eat a corn dog,
let's say this.
I mean, would you say the same thing?
But Alfonso, think about this. If this guy, let's say, made a sex tape and it was found on the internet, would it be the school district's or this law office's responsibility to provide to the public this sex tape? There's an issue of privacy.
I don't think that would have to be relayed. But if he's willing to fight it, he must truly believe that may not exist.
If it goes to court, it'll come out for sure.
Right.
Got to take a break again.
Okay.
Damn commercials. No, we love them. Log on to CompeteRadio.com. News, information, hot topics, and more.
Radio is gay. You're listening to Compete Radio.
Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Josh Fourrier, here with
Alfonzo Chavez.
Alfonzo. Was that AJ I heard coming back from the break? I haven't heard that girl's voice in a while.
Actually, I was just thinking about the intro music. That sounds like some kind of James Brown Las Vegas show. I love it.
They actually use I won't even call it our theme song, but they use it on the Jeremy Kyle show in the UK, and then they also use it on Judge Alex for his promo bumpers, if you've ever seen those. But yeah, it's a widely used song, very popular in the talk show world.
Yeah, I picture a line of Vegas showgirls who like step, kick, shoulder, step, kick, shoulder. Do
you mean you picture you as a Vegas showgirl?
No,
no, Alfonso.
They wouldn't even let me in the door.
Oh,
yeah. I'm too short.
It's about the right headdress. That's what it is. So, all right. So let's talk about this gay football player. Well, let me clarify. Well, let me back the truck way up. Okay.
Beep beep. Yeah.
Thank you.
Turn on that reverse beeper.
We all know what my opinion of this guy is, right? No, actually it isn't. But okay, so there's.
I think you're saying gay in quotation marks, maybe.
Gay, air quotes. Yeah. All right. So there's a high school student that. You know what? Let's play the audio.
Let's make it easy on all of you.
Something. Okay. Let's play the clip we have, and then we'll talk about it.
Started out playing football here and then decided that it really wasn't for him, and he saw what the cheerleaders were doing, and he'd heard that other people were cheerleading and had a fun time doing it, so he went to a couple practices, and from then it just kind of took off, and he loves it.
Yeah, I'm having a blast. It's awesome.
He's got his reasons.
Well, girls for one. You gotta love that. And you don't have a coach yelling at you every 5 seconds.
And just because he's not hitting doesn't mean he's not part of the action.
I think I'm more intense here. You get more crowd reaction. You can do whatever you want, basically.
Younger brother Ryan, a freshman, still plays.
He gives me a hard time every day, every time he sees me.
And Logan still cheers.
W-O-R-K. I never really cared about what people thought of me, because it just never really mattered to me. F-I-G-H-T, fight.
But it did matter to Mom, who just moved the boys here from Des Moines 2 years ago.
It was kind of scary because I was afraid, being in a small town like we are, there's like a lot of camouflage and pickup trucks and hunters and that kind of thing. So I thought for sure they'd be kind of giving him a hard time. I didn't want him to get beat up or made fun of or anything. But he loves it, and everybody's kind of accepted it.
And that's something to cheer for.
Give me a G.
A.
Why?
Camouflage. No. Yeah. Actually, when she said there's a bunch of people with camouflage in that town, it made me think that the town was a living, breathing fetish party.
Folsom Street Fair gone wild?
Maybe.
Yeah. The issue at hand amongst the blogs would be this guy's sexuality, right? People were thinking.
I don't even know why this is an issue.
I don't either.
There's our former president was a cheerleader, right?
Bush?
Yes.
Wasn't he?
He was a cheerleader at Yale. Yeah.
Oh, I wish I would have known that when he was in office with my other show.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that. That would have given me so much ammo.
And he has so much Texas swagger. Nobody would ever think that he was gay.
Let me just say, as a born and raised Texan, this guy was not born in Texas.
No.
Yeah. Let's just.
But he's considered a Texan.
I know, it sucks.
Rick Perry is a Texan.
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother ball game.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I made a sports reference.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. So this student, he was a football player, didn't like football, thought he would be a cheerleader.
And he loves being a cheerleader.
Yeah.
I saw the video. He seemed to be pretty good, at doing all the other things the cheerleaders do. I did see where somebody might have thought he was a little gay when they were doing the the pony, the cheerleader pony thing. I saw that from behind, and I'm like, okay, I could see why someone would think that, but that's a stereotype, you know.
I think, you know, no matter what, if he's gay, straight, bi, I just think he's really secure in who he is.
Yeah,
to say,
I'll give him that.
I'll do what I want.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, even a gay guy may be really insecure about attempting to be a cheerleader just for the fear of what people will think of him as a person. So, what is it that makes someone act gay or appear to be gay?
Well, I think this there was one article, and I really wish I could remember what website it was, but the guy who wrote this article was so full of, and I would say manure, but manure actually makes things grow, so it's good for something. And this guy's opinion isn't even manure, where he's just like, oh, well, I can tell who's gay, but, you know, this guy can throw a football, so he can't be gay, but I saw him do a kick, so he must be gay. And it's just so...
That reminds me directly of a huge issue right now. There's a new app that came out in the Android market.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
12 questions mothers should ask or answer in the app to find out if their kid is gay or not. And one of the questions is something about liking football or not.
Or liking sports.
So horrible. And it just surprises me that... You know, I wonder how many people take it seriously. I wonder...
You know, I'm going to reference something I mentioned last week. Remember that the guy who turned gay because he had a stroke, how I said it belongs next to the Bat Boy Gets Married on the cover of Globe? Yeah. I think maybe this app also belongs on the cover of Globe.
But there's obviously things that men specifically... I mean, women, it's the flannel. But, well, stereotypically, right? And a bunch of cats. All right. So with men, what is it where society looks at someone and says, I think they're gay because blank?
Well, let's see.
Why do we have such firm lines as far as what is appropriate and not for someone?
If you'd allow me to read some stereotypes here are things that make you a man. You have sex with a lot of women. You like guns. You watch football. You like to play football. You like throwing footballs. You like catching footballs. You like tackling people. You like roughhousing for no apparent reason. You like to be outdoors. You like camping. I could go on, you know. And I think a lot of people...
You got through that list pretty well, Alfonso.
Well,
I'm impressed.
They're all kind of ridiculous, actually.
They are.
You know, because I can go through each one of those and tell you, oh, well, I know a person who's like this that's gay, and I know a person like this who's gay, and I know a person who's like this who's a flaming queen. You know, oh, and this drag queen loves football. You know, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, you know, there's straight guys, too, who are not the ultra-masculine butch stereotype of what you just listed for us.
Well, it's like some people would say, oh, well, do you like gardening? It's like, well, how big of a difference is there from gardening to landscaping?
Right.
You know, so
right.
the only difference is the word you choose.
Yeah. That's
in some cases.
Very good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And or people would say figure skating, you know, that's a stereotypically quote unquote gay sport.
Yes.
So if somebody says, does your kid like sports?
Like soccer. That was labeled as the gay sport.
Synchronized swimming, or, you know, even there's even a stereotype that goes deeper than that. You know, it isn't just sports. It's like, oh, well, if you like this sport, you're gay, or there's that sport's only gay men.
From what I'm noticing about our youth today, it seems like any and everything is just gay. Because that's gay. You know what I mean? Like, that is the thing to say nowadays, is that's gay.
Yeah.
So.
Especially if you're that Beverly Hills housewife who says lying is gay. Well, I guess I could see her point, because there are people who are closeted, which would be lying, so... But that's kind of really breaking it down.
I think unless an issue affects someone directly, they don't take the time to educate themselves on it.
Right.
Why would a straight person who is in a traditional marriage with a family really care to go out and really educate themselves on gay people? Why?
Well, I wonder why somebody would want to spend this much time trying to figure out if somebody's gay.
I know, and by somebody, we're referencing the story that was published.
Who's the gay person here?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Is it the person who's dying to know if the cheerleader's gay, or is it the cheerleader?
Well, I say full 100% props to the student for being secure in who he is, and if you want to be a cheerleader, go out and cheer your team on. And if they ever need a backup quarterback, then you're their guy, right?
Yeah, and if you're a lesbian, there's no reason why you can't be a cheerleader either.
I think we need a break. Okay. Log on to CompeteRadio.com. We'll be right back after this.
You're listening to Compete Radio.
Welcome back to the show. It is 12:50. I'm your host, Josh Fourrier, here with
Alfonzo Chavez.
Hi, Alfonso.
Hi, Josh.
Welcome to the show.
I'm feeling so welcome.
Can you believe the hour is already over?
Yeah, it's kind of flown by. It's a little faster than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, like it seems like this whole week has gone by so slow, and now when we're doing the show, it's like rocket speed.
We say that every week, though. The show always seems to fly by. It's because we're having so much fun. I mean that seriously. We do have fun on the show.
Some do.
Oh, okay. Well, excuse me.
All right. Now we have a story about more
serious
gay.
Yeah.
Tell me all about it, AJ.
AJ.
I was going to see if you'd go for it. I miss her.
Yeah, so do I.
Do you really?
I do.
I wish she would call in. She should call in. AJ, if you're listening, call us. I want to put her on the air. Okay. I really do miss her. I think we should have her back at least. You know, she was with us for a while. All right, Alfonso, go.
So, recently
we had fun together.
There was a game between the Philadelphia Flyers and the New York Rangers. During the game, Wayne Simmons, I guess, had a run-in with Sean Avery. And now, before I go on, I do want to say that Sean Avery has been a vocal ally of the gay community. He's in favor of equal rights when it comes to marriage.
Sex.
Sure. Well, he's
like Ben Cohen, right? Except in America.
Well, he plays hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I would compare him to Ben Cohen, but
Ben Cohen's much larger.
But he is a vocal supporter of equality.
Sure.
So what had happened was the cameras caught some trash talk that looked like Simmons called Avery the gay F word.
Trash talk at a hockey game?
Right. Imagine
what
that.
Is this?
Now, there was a little bit of discussion in the NHL about what kind of punishment would take place. Well, it turns out there was no punishment for Wayne Simmons because they weren't able. They were able to see the video, but I guess they weren't able to hear what he said. So they couldn't confirm that what he said was actually that word.
Maybe it's just because it's the NHL. If it was the NFL, he would have had a $100,000 fine, right?
Possibly. Well, in the NBA, it would have been 50 or 100,000.
Yeah, well, that was the case, right? What was the?
That was Joakim Noah.
Right.
Actually, Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
And then Joakim Noah.
Yeah.
Who did have.
So see, some of these leagues, they are not tolerating it at all. Like, don't even cross the line.
Right.
NHL has always been hockey has just been violent. It has this history of being violent. These guys unleash.
Yeah, it does. It is known for people having fights on the ice. I think if you asked anybody what's their stereotype of hockey, they'd probably say, "Oh, fights."
Yeah.
Because and actually there was a Nintendo game that me and my brother played in the 90s, and there would be parts of the game where you would get into fight with other players and you guys would actually have to punch each other using your controller.
Well, and coincidentally, hockey was the only reason the Jerry Springer show was allowed to continue on its course of violence that it was on, because he actually, in Chicago, took them to court and they were like, well, why aren't you arresting your guests if they get in a fight? So look, people get in fights, hockey, all the time. Yeah. No arrests are made. It's the same concept.
Well, I mean, if you're going to go to that angle, people are fighting.
Jerry Springer did. I'm not.
No, but I'm just saying, if that issue is brought up, you could claim boxing, wrestling, mixed martial arts, all of them have a fighting component to them where people get beat up.
Yeah.
So they're somebody really doesn't have a leg to stand on if they're saying that a show is too violent because people are fighting.
Right. But that is kind of stretching it just a little bit, isn't it? Because I mean, the purpose of hockey is to get the puck in the goal, right? So
and the purpose of Jerry Springer is to watch people fight.
Well, I'm talking sports, martial arts. There were. I remember in the '90s, bars would give you a free shot on the house every time a fight broke out on the Springer Show.
Wow.
Yeah.
They probably got in trouble for getting people so drunk.
I know. Totally. I understand how inappropriate it was to use the gay F word against Avery, just because of his position on how supportive he is of the gay community. Mm-hmm. Simmons, what if Avery turned around and said a racial slur to Simmons?
It would have been just as bad.
Would it?
Yeah, I think it would have.
Would they have then said, we couldn't hear what you said, so we're not going to fine you?
It's really hard to say because there's free speech, and we also don't know what the mission is in hockey. I don't know too much about hockey. I know about Sean Avery. I know Wayne Gretzky was one of the, some people think he's one of the greats in hockey. I don't know too much about it. I don't know too much about how it operates. But I think I think he probably would have been fined for using that.
Sure.
Using that word in hockey. So I don't know.
Suspended, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know why this word would be any different.
Right. Well, but then if they go around and they start policing language, what about semantics? Like, you're going to have sex jokes being compared to, the racial slurs, and then it's this whole back and forth of what's more wrong than the other. And where do you say, these are adult men who are playing a violent game? It's the way it is.
Yeah, I think it's one thing to trash talk people. It's another when it becomes misogynistic.
Yeah.
And I don't think somebody means to be misogynistic where, oh, your mama or I'm going to do such and such to your girlfriend or something. That's
yeah.
I don't think people take that as seriously, but if somebody were to call somebody a racial slur, then that hurts that entire community of people. Like if you were to call them a slur that maybe was used against
unless
Asians
it's against
or
a white
Muslims
Yeah, unless it's a white person, then that's supposed to be okay.
I'm not saying that's better.
No, I know you're
I'm
not.
just saying
I'm saying society
just because
says
it's accepted doesn't mean it's better.
No, I know you don't. I know you're logical, but society, on the other hand, is not.
Yeah.
As a white person, I've experienced racism towards myself, and it's supposed to just be brushed off.
Yeah. Well, in previous generations, you were the oppressor, so now it's okay to make fun of you or say things to you. I think that's the mentality that people have out there.
I wish we could move on.
Yeah.
Like, not topics.
Oh.
I just wish, as a people, I wish we could move on and just be better people.
But you make a good point. Personally, I think there's a big difference from that locker room trash talk because athletes and any place where you get a group of guys together, they are just going to talk so much crap to each other.
Oh yeah,
but it doesn't mean anything.
It's how they flirt.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the bromance.
And I don't know if you saw that movie with Clint Eastwood. I can't remember. It had the name of a car, and it took place in Detroit. And he
don't ask me to quote a movie.
Well, he was trying to show the neighbor kid how to be a little bit more of a man, and he went to his barber, and he and his barber just started talking so much crap to each other, but they were friends.
I must have missed that blockbuster, Alfonzo.
Yeah, it actually was a very popular movie. It was called Gran Torino. That was it.
Oh, I've heard of it.
And that's totally how my dad is with guys at work. They talk so much crap to each other because it's all just guys, and people don't get all offended, they don't get hurt. But I do think there are some words that should not be used even in that situation.
Yeah, but it's a matter of deciding what those words are.
Right. Well, when prejudices come into the picture, then you've gotten outside of trash talking and you're being offensive.
Yep. We have a whole nother hour coming up, filled with hot topics. In the meantime, log on to Compete Radio, news, information, hot topics, and more. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Compete Radio right after this. Stay with us.
Please support our advertisers and sponsors by telling them you heard their commercial on Compete Radio.
Welcome back to the show. It's 1:04. I'm your host, Josh Fourrier, here with
Alfonzo Chavez.
You never let me introduce you.
Oh, do you want to introduce me?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm Josh Fourrier, here with Alfonzo Chavez.
Oh, you know what it is?
I love how you mouthed what I'm supposed to say.
No, it's because usually you stop and let me say it myself. That's why I always...
Oh.
Yeah. Okay,
I'm Josh Fourrier, here with...
See, you didn't say it.
I was letting you say it.
Alfonzo Chavez.
Oregon cheerleaders are wearing hard hats to protect themselves from Arizona fans. Can you imagine that?
From University of Arizona fans, to be distinct about who we're talking about.
Why would they do this?
Well, in a 2009 game, somebody from the stands for U of A fans, excuse me.
Yes.
Somebody threw a water bottle and it hit an Oregon cheerleader in the head during a game. And she actually, I think she was actually taken to the hospital.
It's not funny.
No, it isn't.
No.
Especially if you're that cheerleader. Yeah.
So that's why they start pulling the football players out of the team and to cheer with the girls. They're losing cheerleaders.
Well, I mean, the water bottle came from the air.
I know, it's tying into our other story.
Okay.
You know, the gay football player.
Oh, yeah. Okay. My bad.
Oh, Alfonso.
Maybe they should bring that kid to
it's like
Oregon's cheer team.
Yeah.
So
it reminds me of Justin Bieber.
Back. Huh?
Remember when they threw the water bottle at Justin Bieber?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. His big hair.
Did it, like, flish around or...
He was very cool and collected about it.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably a girl that threw it. It was a bad shot.
Oh.
Ooh.
Or a U of A football player.
Yeah, or me. I'm no better.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. The idea of someone... It just seems comical to me. But, I mean, it obviously isn't.
Right. Well, you know what it really speaks to is get your fans under control.
Yeah.
You know, people...
Sorry.
You know, the New York Yankees had a similar issue with a group of people in the stands where they were getting a little too aggressive and they were too hostile towards people that they thought were gay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're being hostile to the other team or the other team's fans, or...
I could just see this cheerleader get smacked in the head. She's all, oh my God. It burns. I just see this big blonde head. I'm sorry, I have mental pictures.
Yeah. Well, actually, you know, I've told you before that I went to Arizona State, and for 2 years I was in the State University's marching band, and you know, we would go down to Tucson sometimes for the game against U of A.
Yeah.
You know, some years it was there, some years it was here in Tempe, and I remember being hit with a tomato by a U of A fan.
Ooh. While
we were marching to the stadium. It's like, really, who attacks the band?
Yeah, that's...
You know, that's... What is the band going to do? Or you know, plumes would be missing, capes. We used to wear these capes. There'd be instances where capes would disappear. Yeah, and it got so bad that the band director at the time, Coach Fleming, would actually have all the women inside of our block and have the tuba players and percussion and all the guys on the outside.
Wow.
Because people were trying to attack band members at U of A. Yeah. Why would you attack band members? It's just kind of ridiculous to me.
I don't know. Yeah. I have to... It's just the pictures in my head.
Of what?
This cheerleader. Oh my God, my face.
You know what? It's interesting because normally I would think this is funny.
I just do.
But
I don't know why.
Having experienced some of the U of A fans when you're not a U of A team or a U of A fan, I can relate to where she was coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think it's kind of a really smart I don't know, a really smart comeback for letting them know you people are a little too unruly.
I think it's totally smart. It's totally smart, totally creative. Hard hats.
Yeah, I mean, how ridiculous is it that a cheerleader would have to wear a hard hat to a football game?
They still look stylish, and they look hot. I mean, they really do. I saw pictures.
Well, it matched their Oregon yellow.
Yeah, it looks good. I thought it was cute.
It seemed a little Hooters to me.
It did.
Yeah.
It did. And that's where the pictures are coming from, because I looked at the picture and I could just imagine any one of those girls getting hit in the head with a water bottle. It's just hilarious. I can't. Gosh. Just to see it happen. Just so she's not hurt.
I don't even think it would be funny if it happened to a U of A cheerleader, because it just isn't right to attack people just because they're from another team.
No, I know, but
or a university.
Yeah. Just so no one's hurt, it's funny.
Yeah. Well, that girl was hurt, though.
I know, but I wasn't there.
She was actually hospitalized. So
did she recover?
I'm assuming
just
she
say
did.
Yes. Say yes, so I don't feel bad. I've been laughing at her.
You know
the whole
what?
segment.
I don't know, Josh.
Stop.
I don't know.
She recovered fine. It was a water bottle. It's not like it was a guillotine.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's very creative. I say, Oregon could have said, we're not sending our cheerleaders. You guys are crazy.
Yeah.
They could have just backed out, but
right.
They didn't. They're still coming. They're supporting their team. I give them props for that.
They took the snarky route, which is always more respectable than not going at all.
Why was it labeled Arizona fans, though? What is that all about?
Because Arizona State is usually referred to as State or Arizona State.
Yeah.
And U of A is usually referred to as Arizona.
Okay. So is it just specifically the school, or is it the state?
It's the University of... It's University of Arizona.
All right, so that's narrowing the blame down even further than to just the university, right?
Right.
Okay. So why? What's going on over there? Why are out of all the universities in this country, why are they so crazy?
I don't know. I really don't.
I don't know either, Alfonso. Let's talk about better and brighter things like our expo.
Yes,
Let's make it all about us again.
Yeah, I'm very excited about the expo. The Compete Sports Diversity Awards and Expo is going to take place November 5th and 6th. The expo portion.
When is that?
November 5th and 6th.
Okay.
What did you think I said?
There's a lot of saliva involved.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Let me dry out my face. Is that better?
That was really not better.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think you grossed out the entire valley right now.
It was a wind tunnel. Yeah.
Expo.
Yes, we are going to have a free throw contest sponsored by the National Basketball Retired Players Association. We're also going to have a basketball clinic with some of them, and these are actually retired professional basketball players.
Now, I hate that word.
What?
Retired. I like former.
Well, they're retired from basketball. It doesn't mean they're completely retired.
I know, but a lot of people are going to think they're like these 80-year-old guys.
No.
They're not, because there's Matt Fish. He's going to be there. He is sexy. He's like, what, 7 feet tall?
He's I think he's 6'11" or 6'10".
9 feet, yeah. He's huge, but he's gorgeous.
Yeah, I think he's like around 40. He's not that old.
He's not old at all.
Yeah, and we're actually going to have a live press conference with Ben Cohen, founder of the Stand Up Foundation, which is dedicated to fighting bullying and homophobia. And he's also a former professional rugby player.
Yes.
And he actually played for England's national team, as well as Northampton Saints and the Sale Sharks. And the expo is free for anybody who wants to attend and check it out. We do have some exhibitor space available if anybody's interested in displaying their wares or marketing to our expo attendees. And then we're going to have our Diversity Awards dinner at the Fiesta Inn in Tempe on Priest and Baseline.
Yep.
And that's actually going to start at 5:30 with a cocktail hour and a silent auction.
Okay. And call our main corporate office at 480-222-4223 for more information. That's 480-222-4223. Or log on to CompeteNetwork.com/expo. That's CompeteNetwork.com/expo for more information. Let's take a break, Alfonso.
Let's take a break.
We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Log on to CompeteRadio.com for news, information, hot topics, and, oh yeah, more. I always forget about that one. Radio is gay. You're listening to Compete Radio. Sports Pop.
Have guests in the studio, owners of 10 United and TU Collection. Guys, introduce yourselves. Welcome to the show.
Thanks. This is Randy.
And Keith.
Randy and Keith. Tell me about your business. I'm joking. You guys have a grand opening. It's really exciting. You're kind of in the what was always known as the gay
ghetto
shopping center.
Right.
You're right next to Hula's.
Yep.
Grand opening with the TU Collection.
October 1st, 6:30 till whenever.
Tell us what's so special about the TU Collection, because you can buy clothes anywhere. Why would people want to participate in the TU Collection? What does TU stand for?
10 United.
Oh, duh. Okay. Of course it does.
He's been dyeing his hair blonde. No offense, but
it's red.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
No, we decided that after all the requests for...
I asked the in-depth questions here.
There was a store there formerly, and people kept coming in asking us where it went. And we just decided that it was time to bring that back, so to speak. Not completely, but Phoenix needed something upscale and unique to complement Uptown now. It was time for a change.
You're on Central, right?
Central, just south of Camelback.
Yes.
And we have underwear and swimwear from around the world, not just the U.S. Mm-hmm. So...
Well, I'm looking at lines like Aussie Bum, Addicted, ES, exclusive to your store.
Yes.
Meaning that you can't go anywhere else in the state to buy these clothes.
Correct.
Closest would be Los Angeles.
So, in order for me to try on these clothes or to browse the collection, before you guys had to go to Los Angeles to do this.
Or shop online.
But then you can't touch and feel.
Right. That's really important because you have to make sure it's right for you as an individual.
Well, and especially with ES and Addicted coming from the European countries, they're smaller in size. So you may think you're a medium when actually you're large.
Yeah, I've had experience with European sizes. Yeah, I keep my big American butt in, big American clothes now. So that is good information to have when you're shopping.
Well, the cuts are extremely different, aren't they?
Yeah.
As far as our sizing.
Well, we had to order.
Of course they do.
We seem to be the corn-fed boys over here.
Yeah. It's all these Mexicans here with bigger butts. The LA Mexicans have small butts.
There's no food in LA.
Just avocados.
Yes. All right, so this is the TU Collection. So it's basically a secondary store to your operation, otherwise known as 10 United.
Attached to it.
Right.
Yes.
So 10 United. So what you do basically is you go in and you tan. Then after that, you go pick a hot new wardrobe, right?
Or you could pick out a suit before you tan and get a tan line.
Oh, yes.
Or you don't have to tan at all. You can just come and shop.
Yeah,
or you can do both.
Fun. I would rather do both. Because what's the point of buying swim shorts if you're like look at me, I'm all pasty white, I glow.
Yeah, you are.
See, and no holding back, right?
Casper.
Yeah, I know. So what's the point of going to buy a swimsuit, Alfonso, if you're not tan?
Well, I think it's a start.
Well, you don't have that problem, do you, Alfonso?
Actually, I'm fairly pale when I don't get sun. I'm not Utah pale,
okay.
But I'm still pretty pale. I can get pretty light when I don't have sun.
Well, and too, the vitamin D levels in people of color are drastically low, and that's because they think they don't need sun.
Right.
It's interesting.
And actually, if you didn't know this, Josh, vitamin D is actually something our bodies create from the sun. If you don't take a supplement, you can actually get it just from getting sunlight, those UV rays.
Well, I did know that, Alfonso, but thank you for assuming I didn't.
Well, you could be Joe Listener who doesn't know.
Yes, I could.
Well, and there's also Odyssey cruises and things coming up in October that the boys might need a new swimsuit for.
Absolutely.
Atlantis. Sorry.
Yes.
Well, in a lot of places in the United States, the swimsuit season stops like maybe around this time, but in Arizona, it can go into November.
Oh, yeah.
And then people who are traveling, or anybody who lives in Florida who never really has to experience winter.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to talk about my favorite thing, Pan Am. The new show is coming out on ABC. I'm excited about that. You guys, can you grab your bag and just show us a little bit of this Pan Am goodness over here?
That is really cool.
Isn't it gorgeous?
I really, really want one of those.
It feels like a leather. It's a duffel bag?
Gym bag.
Gym bag. Okay. Feels like leather. Huge Pan Am logo on the side. It's in black and white. Very stylish.
I believe it is leather.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, it's PU.
Okay.
PU.
Is that polyurethane or
Pleather.
Oh, sorry.
Well, it feels
I
like
ruined the fantasy here. My bad.
It does feel like real leather.
Could be a leather queen shopping for that. Sorry.
And you can tell it's really well made.
No, there's a lot of detail to it.
There is. I like the metal accents.
The vents.
Yes. Are they vents?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, look at that.
So,
has a little keychain. Is that a keychain?
No, it's just
a tag.
It can be a keychain.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It would be my keychain.
Yeah.
You better watch it. I'm going to swipe it. So, and then there's a smaller, like a shave
bag, wash bag, they call it.
Mm-hmm. Gorgeous line. What else could we expect from Pan Am in their line?
Belts, watches.
You brought in a belt the other time you were here, right? Before?
Yes.
They took a seat belt and made a belt out of it.
Coolest thing
very
ever.
Cool.
Yeah, have you seen that, Alfonso?
I've seen something similar. I haven't seen that specific belt, but I have heard of that.
Coolest thing ever. Like, it looks like. I mean, you'd have to be open-minded to be able to wear that, but it's really cool. What else do you have in your bag of tricks?
Careful there.
Uh-oh.
Wait,
what do you want in the bag of tricks?
He's digging. Oh,
a load of cash is what he wants in there.
It's a wallet.
Oh, it's a passport holder.
Okay, and here we go. Here's another thing from Pan Am. This is a passport holder.
Passport holder, yes.
I think it looks like a wallet. I would use it as a wallet, actually, because on one side there's room for your credit cards. On the other side is your passport or just a huge picture of yourself, so you can remind yourself.
That's where you can put all the phone numbers you get when you go out at the casino.
But it has like a leather finish to it. I heard that, Alfonso. It has like a leather finish to it, white Pan Am logo. It's gorgeous. Out of everything that you guys have, everything is beautiful. The swimsuits are gorgeous, exclusive to Arizona, your location, TU Collection. But Pan Am is, of course, my favorite. And I think it's just because it has that vintage look. They didn't alter the logo. It's exactly how it was back in the day. And then, of course, ABC's show coming out. Just premiered, actually,
Sunday.
didn't it?
No, it's this Sunday. It starts.
Tomorrow. Yeah. I mean, how can you go wrong with Pan Am? Such good memories. Big part of history. So, you guys are located next to Hula's.
Correct. 4700 North Central.
Mm-hmm.
Highland and Central.
Highland and Central, north of Hula's. So basically, everyone will go have brunch at Hula's and then go to your place, right?
For grand opening?
Anytime.
Oh, yeah.
Go eat.
You're right next door to Hula's.
Go eat at Hula's. And then
Hula's is actually pretty awesome.
Have a tan. Have a drink.
Food.
There you go.
That's like the perfect way to spend a Sunday.
Buy a Pan Am bag.
Yeah.
But we are open 7 days a week, 9 to 9 Monday through Saturday, and 10 to 6 on Sunday.
What's your phone number?
602-274-8268. TANU.
TANU.
8268.
602-274-8268. 68. Okay. And you have a website.
We do.
We have several websites.
For the TAN and TU collection?
TANunited.com and tucollection.co. Oh, I forgot to say we also have a massage therapist that's going to be there doing some chair massages. And he's actually now working through the store, Jesse Farrell.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And how is that going to work that day that he's doing the massages?
Don't know yet.
Okay. To be determined.
Yeah,
and he will be there.
He will be there.
And,
okay.
and for you light railers, that's the Central and Camelback stop.
Yes.
To get to TAN United.
Yes. Next to Hula's. Well, guys, thank you very much for being here. I'm stealing your bag.
Thank you.
Your Pan Am bag. Log on to CompeteRadio.com for news, information, hot topics, and more.
Hey.
Welcome back to the show. It's 1:29. I'm your host, Josh Fourrier, here with
Alfonzo Chavez. If you want to say it, just tell me. You can. You're the host, Josh. You can go ahead and.
No.
It's your show.
No, by all means.
I don't want to infringe.
Speak for
upon
yourself.
Your show, Josh.
Whatever. I'm here with Alfonzo Chavez. Hi, Alfonzo.
Hi, Josh.
How you doing?
You know what? Something happened in between the last segment and now, and I don't know. I'm a little more hyper right now.
The Thermogen? Is that what it was?
It could have been.
You popped a Thermogen.
Sure, why not? I got some fat to burn.
Shut up. Why do you do that?
There's always room for improvement. Always.
There is, but you look fine. You were so critical of yourself.
I could look better.
Everybody can look better.
You know, there's thousands of women in Scottsdale that would agree with me.
Why would you care?
There's always room for improvement.
If you didn't listen last week, well, first of all, shame on you. But second of all, Alfonzo started this Thermogen thing.
Yeah.
Which we're not recommending because we don't know how dangerous they are. He could self-combust. I don't know. But can you update us on your progress with the Thermogen?
I think I've already blown up without the Thermogen.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Well, you were mentioning that.
No, I meant like getting large. Anyway.
But aren't they supposed to do the opposite?
No, I mean, I'm taking the Thermogen to counteract the fact that I've gotten large.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How have they been working?
Well, last week I was having some issues. This week it's better because I stopped taking my protein in a supplement form and I'm getting it from food instead, and the issues are pretty much clearing up.
Okay. And do you see any difference in how you feel, any progress in weight monitoring, whatever's going on?
I haven't really noticed too much of a difference, but it's only been a week.
Digestion process better?
Oh, that's been okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're sticking with them?
For now, yeah.
For now. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully next week you'll be able to give us another update before we have to leave our audience.
Well, I'm just hoping it gets better.
Yes. And speaking of that,
yes,
NFL got some criticism for not releasing any of those videos as is socially popular right now with and anyone, basically.
Well, just really quickly, I just wanted to say, and it gets better video, I really think that's something that should come from the heart. And if people don't have it in their heart to do one, I don't think they should be criticized for that.
Right.
And yeah. I mean... This is really no offense to the no hate campaign, because I know it's some really good work that they're putting into the fight for marriage equality in California. But I think it's, for some people, it's just become something that's en vogue.
Yeah.
And I
Facebook profile pictures.
Right, and I would like to see the It Gets Better campaign be a little, you know what I mean? I'm not judging it. I'm not judging anybody who's done that, but I'd prefer to see somebody who really means it make a video than somebody who's forced to do it or feels that they need to do it, other than what's in their heart.
Well, at the sake of thinking the world is just a beautiful place, let's just hope that any and everyone that made one of those videos really meant it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. I'm not doubting that, but I'm just saying, why are you going to pressure somebody to do something that isn't heartfelt?
Right.
So.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
Totally. So even though the NFL did receive some criticism for not doing this, several of the players individually spoke out against discrimination towards the LGBT community.
Right. Actually, Scott Vucita is very well known for being a proponent of equal marriage, equal rights.
Yeah. So, aside from the It Gets Better, I have to really be careful with that because I always say it gets better. I don't know why. Do you not have an issue saying that?
I don't.
God, what's wrong with me? Shut up. Where do we start? I know. Blah, blah, blah. Okay.
I'm not licensed to answer that question.
The NFL did, however, remove a hurdle for professional football players who may be thinking of coming out as gay by banning discrimination based on sexual orientation. This is shocking to me that the NFL would actually do this.
Well, it's a huge step forward.
It is.
And this was part of the 2011 collective bargaining agreement that was ratified on August 4th. Previously, from the 2006 collective bargaining agreement, the language on discrimination was based on quote-unquote race, religion, national origin, or activity or lack of activity on behalf of the NLFPA, which is the NFL Players Association.
Right.
The new, the updated section reads, there will be no discrimination in any form against any player by the management council, any club, or by the NFLPA because of race, religion, national origin, and here it is, sexual orientation, or activity, or lack of activity on behalf of the NFLPA.
Mm-hmm.
So, that one caught me by surprise. In a good way.
I think it caught everyone by surprise to just see that. It's one thing to release a video and say, yeah, we. It's another thing to put it in the contract.
Right.
And I think that's huge. I think that says a lot about the NFL. Says a lot about the people that are making the decisions within the NFL. It's definitely a step forward because we're seeing our country move forward in so many ways, and now even the stereotypical no gays allowed sport of football is now including this in their contract.
It's a workplace non-discrimination clause, if you will. One thing that I thought was really interesting was there were two lawyers who worked on getting rid of that ban on marriage equality in California, David Boies and Ted Olson. And Boies was a representative of NFL management in the bargaining, and the players were represented by Olson. So it's kind of an interesting thing to see that these two lawyers who work to get marriage equality in California were part of this bargaining agreement that now includes sexual orientation, non-discrimination.
Right. And I think it's really important that we all pay attention to that. And it's very easy for us to access that information. If you're going to do business with a company, if you're going to work for a company, if you're going to rent from someone, look at their employment application. Does it include sexual orientation as a portion of their non-discrimination policy?
Yeah.
I want to quote Rachel Maddow real quick, if I may.
I love Rachel.
I know.
I'd go less for Rachel.
I wouldn't go that far. But
I would.
Okay. Here's what she says. Here's the thing about rights. They're not supposed to be voted on. That's why they call them rights. And how true is that?
Yeah.
Why would you vote on something like gay marriage? Because it is supposed to be a right. Gay people fight to protect our country, pay taxes.
You know what? I think you just hit a really important one. We pay taxes.
How about that?
We don't get a write-off for having children. But we do pay taxes for schools that do teach them.
Yes.
Because it's good to have educated children in the world, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and streets and sidewalks and city parks and...
Well, that's a big part of the Tea Party movement right now is zero taxes is the big thing. And it's like, while you're holding up your sign protesting, you're standing on a sidewalk that's paid for by tax money.
Right.
At that traffic light that's also paid for by tax money.
Well, I just... Even before we get to that point, I'm just personally willing to pay my fair share to educate kids. That's just me. If they're not educated, how are they going to get jobs outside of working in a field?
I totally agree with you.
One thing I did want to add about what's so great about this is these guys who play football that so many kids in the United States and so many adults look up to, they've now got on board and said sexual orientation discrimination is not okay, and we're not going to be subject to it any longer.
I think it's beautiful. I think it's awesome. And of all leagues, the NFL.
Well, it's a big social statement coming from the NFL.
It is.
All-American football professional league.
Well, let's keep following it. We'll see how it goes. We're out of time. Let's take a break. Log on to CompeteRadio.com for news, information, hot topics, and more. Connie is coming up next to talk to us about the huge expo.
Yay!
Stay with us.
Compete Radio is brought to you in part.
Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Josh Fourrier. It is 1:45 in the studio right now. I have the one and only Connie Wardman.
Ooh. I hope I'm the one and only.
Well, I'm sure somewhere in a faraway land there's another Connie Wardman walking around.
Everybody has a double, they say.
This is true. Connie, you know, we have one show left on KPHX after this week.
Yes, and then big changes.
I know.
It's exciting.
It's scary, though, too.
Well, yeah, but, you know, feel the fear and do it anyway. You don't make big changes without taking some risks along the way. And we've got so much exciting stuff coming along. It really is a thrilling time to be involved in Compete Sports Media.
It is, and we have no choice but to make this decision with the show and expand and grow. And I think that, especially in this economy, I think it's great that we're able to do that.
It is, because I remember when the radio show started out with 5 of us huddled around a desk because we had one omnidirectional microphone. We're all talking over top of each other, and it was just meant to go on our website for our website folks that were part of our community, and it kind of grew like Topsy from there. So we're really pleased, and thank all of you who are listening in.
Yeah, well, and that's what matters, is our listeners, our advertisers.
Absolutely.
That's what keeps us here. But yeah, can you believe it's been a whole year since that omnidirectional microphone has graced us with its presence?
No, although I do have pictures. They're all clean, but it was, they are.
I've seen your Facebook.
Oh, my word. Anyway, it really was a wonderful, fun time, and I have pictures of us sitting around that microphone. So that'll go in the Compete Sports Media archives for sure.
Oh, definitely. The time capsule. And in 10 years, we'll open it back up, and
you'll find me and those pictures.
Yes.
I turned 97 again the other day. It was a wonderful thing.
That's right. Let's talk about that for a second. You just had a birthday.
I did. It was wonderful. And
it was not your 97th.
Well, certainly it was, and I don't look a day over 96. How do I do it? I can't figure it out. One of my friends wrote back and said, I sleep in formaldehyde every night. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
That's what that smell is.
I thought it was just drinking Pepsi.
Oh, Pepsi.
Oh, dear. Well, on to the real stuff here.
Well, wait a second.
Oh, okay.
Now, what did you do for your birthday? Because I want to know. Because I'm running out of ideas, and I'm 27. What did you do?
Oh, dear, you don't want to know. I worked. I mean, I had things that had to be done and deadlines that had to be met. So, but friends took me out to dinner, which was fun.
Go. Yeah.
Not on the day of my birthday, but later on when I had all my work completed, I got my dessert after I ate my vegetables, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Well, good. So you went out for dinner at least. Got to
Absolutely.
see your friends. That's what matters. I enjoy that more than a big party anyway.
Absolutely.
I want to talk about the expo.
Me too.
This is probably, I would say, in the top 2 of the biggest events this company has ever done.
Well, if any of you out there know Eric Carlisle, who is our founder and CEO, he's just a real visionary, and I was working for him in another company when he came up with the idea for Compete Sports Media, and he saw it in its complete form with radio, with website, with magazine, and he even talked about doing an expo and maybe doing some awards. So we are now entering the 6th year of being in business, and that's what we're doing.
Wow.
We have a wonderful weekend coming up November 4th through the 6th, so that's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And there are individual pieces of it because we have individual audiences out there.
Let's start with the first day.
Okay.
What is there to expect the first day?
Well, this is really for educators, for teachers, coaches, counselors, people who are in the school system. It's bullying and homophobia, an educational look at how do you handle that. There is unfortunately so much out there about the people committing suicide. It's just hard to deal with.
It is.
So anyway, this is a way for these people to get better acquainted with how to handle situations like that. And these people aren't necessarily sports people, but they deal with our children, and so that's part of that.
Sure. There's two big issues, or not issues, but big categories when you think of compete sports, which is, the first one is sports, but then it's also the gay community, and the LGBT community is that's just as much a part of this company as anything else. So
absolutely,
it's totally important to get that word out there.
Well, the fact is that we really are a full-service media company devoted to gay sports. We're not an advocacy group of people necessarily on paper, but do we all have an element of that? Absolutely, because it affects us all. It affects all the straight people out there as well as the gay people. So it's just part of getting the word out about the fact that we need to live together and work together, and there is an equality there.
Can the general public attend this class?
It's really not for the general public. This is just for educators, and it's kind of a shortened version. I think next year we will have more of this. We had hoped to have colleges and community colleges and maybe some trade schools. That is just too ambitious, I think, for this first year to get in everything we wanted to do.
I was hoping Jay, did you catch the call earlier? You didn't.
No, I didn't.
Okay, I was hoping maybe he could go, but not our Jay. It was a caller we had.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. We have a Jay here, and I'm thinking, well, why would he be calling?
No.
All right.
No, other Jay.
Well, the really big part of this whole weekend is on Saturday, November 5th. Mm-hmm. We've got an expo and a press conference and some NBA retired players out there doing clinics. This is all going to be held at the Sports Club at City Square in the heart of Phoenix. That will run from 10 o'clock to 3, and we have expo booths. Vendors are going to be there of all sorts. Some of them will have actual products that they want to talk about. Some will be sports organizations, both gay and straight, that will...
But all gay friendly.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is our diversity weekend.
Right.
Our mission at Compete Sports Media is to unite the gay and straight worlds through sports. So this is the kind of thing that people are all welcome to, as long as they're open to diversity.
You know what I'm excited about?
What?
Ben Cohen.
Cutie
patootie on a stick.
Oh, man. I don't want to tell tales out of school, but there is one fella who shall remain nameless that in a business that we work with, and he now calls me his wedding planner because he says when he looks at Ben Cohen, he knows that's his husband.
How's it go?
Husband.
One more time, Connie?
Husband.
Oh, man, you did it. You really did
I'm getting it better each time.
Everyone tells me to bug off when I do that to him, but you did it. Right on.
Gosh.
All right, so last day. What's going on the last day?
Oh, well, wait. We haven't gotten to the evening of Saturday.
Okay, hurry. We have 2 minutes.
Oh, rats. The Diversity Awards Dinner. Come to that by all means. We're going to be giving awards to both straight and gay athletes, also to companies who are involved in diversity. And this is going to be the big special event. And if you want information, call Compete Sports Media's office at 480-222-4223. Anyone there can help you with information.
Totally, and you can always log on to CompeteNetwork.com/expo. That's CompeteNetwork.com/expo, and you can get information there as well. But again, that number to call is 480-222-4223. Anyone that answers the phone would be more than willing to talk your ear off about it.
Absolutely. Just a couple things, since I know we're short. Admission to the expo is free. There is a charge for the dinner tickets, but part of the money that we collect goes to Ben Cohen's Stand Up Foundation.
Yes.
Part of it goes to Equality Arizona locally here. So we really are excited to have people come in.
And even more excited to support such wonderful organizations because they do such wonderful things.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then on Sunday, there's a brunch with Ben at George and Dragon in Phoenix because he's from Britain and he loves the pub life. So.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
We don't really have that here.
No.
We have bars and nightclubs, but not really a pub.
It's not the social connection that it is overseas, across the pond, as they say.
Yes.
Well, have I gotten everything in?
Whew, I think you did.
Silent auction at the dinner, by the way.
Yes, and did we mention Ben Cohen?
What was that? Again. Yes,
also,
we did.
Brian Sims is going to be attending the awards.
He is. Wonderful guy. He was I think the first openly gay captain of a football team at Bloomsburg University and has gone on to become an advocacy attorney for LGBT issues and organizations. So lots of wonderful things happening. Please come and join us.
Yep. And last but not least, I should be there. No one's really there to see me.
Well, I hope so. I'm going to be there to see you. We've got Doria Biddle from Sirius XM coming, but
she's hosting. Yes,
but you're going to be there too.
I'll be in the background. I'll be sweeping the floor.
Oh, please! I don't think enough people have gotten an opportunity to meet you yet, Josh.
So I've heard from our Facebook.
Oh, well, we need to get you out there.
I know.
Well, not out there. Maybe you already are out there. I don't know.
Mentally, yeah, I'm out there, Connie. You know that.
That's why you belong here.
We're out of time, but thank you so much for stopping by and telling us about the expo, everything going on. Huge
welcome.
Deal. Number again to the office. Give us a call for more information. It's 480-222-4223. You can always log on 24/7 to competenetwork.com/expo. Find all the information there as well. Oh, Connie.
Yeah. Take a breath.
Oh.
It was good.
Also, don't forget about the other little website, CompeteRadio.com, for news information. Yes, news information, hot topics, and more. We're out of time, but thank you for listening, and don't forget to tune in next week for our last show here on KPHX.
Please support our advertisers